Vedem în continuare ce s-a întâmplat ieri în capitala Belgiei. Liderul de la Casa Albă a dat asigurări în cadrul summitului NATO că orice atac de natură chimică din partea Rusiei asupra Ucrainei va avea un răspuns pe măsură, iar presupusa încercare a lui Putin de a destrăma alianța NATO a fost catalogată de liderul Americii drept un eșec total.
So you've warned about the real threat of chemical weapons being used. Have you gathered specific intelligence that suggests that President Putin is deploying these weapons, moving them to position, or considering their use? And would the U.S. or NATO respond with military action if he did use chemical weapons?
You know, on the first question, I can't answer that. I'm not going to give you intelligence data, number one. Number two, we would respond. We would respond if he uses it. The nature of the response would depend on the nature of the use.
De la începutul agresiunilor Kremlinului față de Ucraina, membrii NATO au impus sancțiuni devastatoare Rusiei. Acum, după summit, președintele Statelor Unite ale Americii anunță un nou set de sancțiuni care vizează sute de complici ai lui Putin, dar și sprijin militar și umanitar față de Ucraina.
The United States is committed to provide over $2 billion in military equipment to Ukraine since I became president. And our weapons are flowing into Ukraine as I speak. I'm announcing the United States is prepared to commit more than $1 billion in humanitarian assistance to help get relief to millions of Ukrainians affected by the war in Ukraine. We're also announcing new sanctions of more than 400 individuals and entities in alignment with the European Union. More than 300 members of the Duma, oligarchs and Russian defense companies that fuel the Russian war machine.
În plus, Joe Biden a apreciat unitatea NATO în fața agresiunii lui Putin.
Putin was banking on NATO being split. NATO has never been more united than it is today. Putin is getting exactly the opposite what he intended to have as a consequence of going into Ukraine.
Un alt aspect important de pe agenda oficialului american a fost discuția pe care a avut-o cu liderul Chinei, în urma căreia Biden a înțeles că Rusia nu va fi sprijinită de China.
I had a very straightforward conversation with Xi now I guess it's 7 days ago in that range, and I made it clear to him. I made no threats, but I made it clear to him that make sure he understood the consequences of him helping Russia, as had been reported and as what it was expected. China understands that its economic future is much more closely tied to the West than it is to Russia.